Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing the topic thematic and complex mapping. In this topic, we will be talking about what is a thematic map, what are the different ways by which the thematic maps are being represented by a cartographer, what are the types of thematic maps, and what are the problems associated with the thematic mapping. So we will move on to the topic. So what is a thematic map? Thematic map is actually a special purpose map. Remember, it's a special purpose map that has been designed to show one particular feature or a specific feature related to a geographic area. So it is just designed to show a particular theme connected to a geographical area. This map specializes in showing a specific information without considering any other details that provide relevance to the basic theme of the map. So that map clearly shows that no other details which are not relevant to the basic theme of the map are included in the thematic map. You can take the example like a soil map. In a soil map, you might have seen that we are able to see or view only the different types of or the distribution of different types of soil. Or take the case of a population map. In a population map, we will be able to see the distribution of population or a density of population. They never represent any other features like what happens to the relief of a region or any other details like which language those people spoke. So it only deals with one theme here, that is either a population or a soil. So a thematic map emphasizes a theme or a topic. Thus, these thematic maps are generally different from our general reference maps, because a general reference map always shows all the natural and man-made features. You might have seen like our topo sheet, that they are showing rivers, cities, political boundaries, roads, transportation lines, all other uh, cultural features or natural features like that. But in case of a thematic map, they will not show all such natural and man-made features. If any such features appears on a thematic map, only they are being represented as a reference point for our understanding. So, for example, if they are showing something like a in a population map and all, they are showing some boundaries and all, they just want to represent that this region is having more population when compared to another region. They may be showing the names of some few important cities to make us understand that maybe because of the cities only or the location of the cities only, the population of that region is very high. So it means that if any theme on a thematic map appears, there are only reference points to enhance one's understanding of the map theme and the. So which are the different ways of representing a thematic map? Generally, five major ways are there to represent a thematic map, but most often we cartographers will be using four major ways. Which are they? We will go through that. The first one is a choropleth map. You all know that what is the choropleth map? The map that will be representing various features in the form of different colors or the shades of different colors. So why they are showing different colors or the different shades? To show the density or a percentage value or an average value with a reference to a geographical area. So they will be using a sequential of colors to represent various features. Similarly, these colors will be having a range of values also. You might have seen that in certain maps, what we are able to see blue color. For example, blue represents water body. All of you know these things. So what happens is that you might be saying for an oceanic area, they will be showing a dark blue color. The regions like Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal, like sea areas, they will be showing comparatively a moderate blue color, whereas the interior parts of the country with the rivers, small ponds, water bodies and all will be having lighter blue color. What they represent? They generally represent the depth of the water body. More the depth, they are giving different shade of the same color. The second way of representing the thematic map is a proportional or graduated symbol. These symbols are generally associated with it to show the locations like a city or a town or a village. So the data is displayed on these maps with the proportionally sized symbols to show the differences in the occurrence. So different sizes of the symbols will be representing in such type of, depending upon the importance. The third way of presenting is that of the isorhythmic or the contour map. You all know that what is an isoline. Okay, the lines that will be depicting the places having same type of phenomenon, like it can be a temperature or it can be a pressure or a rainfall, whatever it may be. So what happens is that these type of maps do not have, or these type of representations do not have a perfect boundary line. They are always continuous. You have studied in your weather map analysis and representation that how you are drawing an isotherm or an isobar and all. So they are always continuous values. And from where they generally the data will be getting, the data are generally gathered from measurable points. Basically, we will be collecting, for example, any climatic data, we will be measuring the data from a weather station. So, from each area, we will be collecting the data, and based on that data, we will be having a continuous value and drawing such type of isolines. And the last but not the least is the dot map. Generally, this dot map is used to represent the spatial pattern of a phenomenon. Okay. Even this one dot can represent a unit. Okay, it can be 5 or 10, even 1. So, depending upon what it is depicted, the dot has a value. So, it always shows the presence of a theme to display a spatial. Now, moving to the types of thematic maps. Basically, there are two types of thematic maps, a simple thematic map and a complex thematic map. So what is a simple thematic map? Generally, it will concentrate on representing a one single feature. Consider that, again we are going back to a soil map. In a soil map, we are able to see what? Different types of soils only. They are not representing any other feature other than the soil. So it is a very good example for a simple thematic map. While moving to the complex thematic map, it represents a combination of several aspects of a same phenomenon. Consider that, for example, every year during the monsoon time, what we are able to see, you will be able to see in our newspapers or in some various websites that they are showing that how much rainfall or what is the average rainfall of that region. So that is a rainfall map. At the same time, they will be showing that how much the rainfall varies from the previous or the average years. You might have seen that many a times, minus 30% or plus 30%. It shows that how much the rainfall has varied from the previous or the average years. It's a type of complex thematic map. Even all of you have studied about weather map analysis. In the weather map analysis, you might have got a weather map. Weather map is a complex thematic map. Why? It has various features. We will be in detail moving to all those stuff. So, a simple thematic map, generally they are classified into three types: a qualitative map, a semi-quantitative map, and third one is a quantitative map. We are moving to a detail. What is a qualitative? So, a qualitative map means while we construct as well as the final output or the appearance, both will be qualitative in nature. That means a qualitative map is those maps which will be qualitative in construction as well as in appearance. These maps generally show the distribution of cultural or natural features which are not measured quantitatively. Here, the quantitative measurement is not at all considered. Consider that rock type or a soil map. We are not quantitatively measuring how much or what is the type. Only you might be have seen our vegetation map. You have seen that a dark green color will be representing evergreen forest, light green might be representing a deciduous forest, or for example a pale yellow color will be representing arid climate. So what it represents or what it shows that only qualitative manner to make us understand that this is the spatial pattern of this phenomenon. Okay, so this is not at all quantifiable. This qualitative thematic maps can be also used to show the distribution of linear features also, linear or dot features or point features other than an aerial extension. For example, a transportation route like a railway map or a road map, they can also be represented in form of a qualitative. The second type is a semi-quantitative map. What is a semi-quantitative map? While we prepare a map, we are preparing the map on the basis of quantitative manner. But after the final output has come, the map looks or appears to be qualitative in nature. I will show you this one with an example. So you remember that a semi-quantitative map is a map that can be represented quantitatively as well as qualitatively. The best example for a semi-quantitative map is a dot map. We will move to an example so that you will understand it. Okay, look at this map. In this map, they are showing that the number of deaths that happened in United States between 2007 to 2017 due to lightning. Okay, it is because of due to thunder and lightning. So what happens is that here the blue color represents the male population and the purple color represents the female population. So they are telling that one dot represents one male and one dot represents one female also. So, if you are looking into the northern parts of the United States, you may be able to count it. Okay, that means that there might be, for example, 1,000 or 10,000 people who might have died in United States due to lightning. Okay, all these are represented in the form of one for one person, one dot. That means that the map is prepared on the basis of quantitatively. If you are looking into the northern parts of United States, we may be able to count it, maybe 30 or 50 or 100 like that. But look at the southeastern parts of United States. Here so many dots are there. Are we able to count it here? No. That means that we are not able to count it even if the map has been prepared on the basis of quantitatively. We have counted, they have put the dots correctly there, but what happened is that for a viewer or for a final user, we are not able to count it. So that the map actually is not able to use in the form of a quantitative manner. It becomes a qualitative manner. So remember that a semi-quantitative map will be like this. We are preparing the map on the basis of quantitative manner, but the final output or the appearance will be like that of a qualitative manner. So semi-quantitative maps are those maps that are quantitative in construction but qualitative in appearance. We will move to the third one, the quantitative map. Quantitative map is those maps which appears quantitative while in construction and in appearance too. That means both in construction as well as in appearance, it will only look quantitatively. So what happens is that for a density map or the frequency of or distribution to show that different states or different districts of the regions will be having this much density and all, the quantitative maps are generally shown. The best method to show a quantitative map is that of our choropleth or the isopleth maps can be also be used. Okay, so in a quantitative map, what happens is that we will be constructing on the basis of quantitatively. Here also you are able to see the literacy rate of India's literacy rate of 2011. What they are telling is that they are giving different choropleth, okay, or the color map they are showing here with representing that less than or the white color represents the regions having less than 75% of literacy, some regions between 75 to 80, some between 80 to 85, 85 to 90 and some regions above 90% literacy. So we are preparing the map on the basis of what? Quantitatively. And finally, while this map appeared or the final output, what happens? We are also able to quantify it. We are able to understand that the regions like Mizoram and Kerala is dominating in a literacy rate of above 90%. Some regions like Rajasthan, UP, MP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh, Telangana and all having a literacy of less than 75%. So that means that even after constructing also the map appeared as quantitative to our final map user. Okay. These are the three types of simple thematic mapping. Moving to the complex thematic mapping, when more than one set of equally important data are portrayed on a single map to show a combination or a correlation or association of a map, it is a complex thematic mapping. So I will again explain to you with an example this one. I told you that we already had analyzed our weather map. You have done your weather map interpretation. In a weather map, what happens is that weather is a phenomenon. It is a type of thematic map. But It is different from our soil map what we have talked earlier. In a soil map, we are able to see only the types of soil. But in a weather map, what all things we have seen? We have seen the cloud type. We are able to see the rainfall distribution. We are able to see the wind direction, the velocity of the wind, other weather phenomena. You are able to see the isobars. So that means that the pressure condition, all these features are being shown in one single map. Okay. Why? Because all are equally important data for understanding the weather of a region. So such type of maps will become under the complex thematic map. So complex thematic maps are analytical and they will give very specialized type of information. Okay. These maps are also called as statistical maps. Moving to the problems associated with the thematic mapping. There are n number of problems associated with the thematic mapping. We will be discussing a very important three or four ones. So the first major one is that of data and their representation. We know that thematic maps will give very limited information, that too about a particular feature, okay, or about a particular phenomenon. This restricts many relevant features that are essential for that map itself. For example, if you are considering a population map, okay, you are considering the density or a population distribution map, you are able to see that, for example, consider the case of an India. You are able to see what some regions like our Kerala or Maharashtra, Delhi and all, they are having a very high population, UP and all. Whereas some regions like Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan and all are having very low population. But in a population map, what happens is that they will only show what the distribution or the density of the population. They never shows the relief of that region. Do they? No. Never they used to see it, show it. So what happens here is that always a population is connected with a relief. We all know that the regions like mountain regions, if you are going to the Himalayan regions or the desert region of Rajasthan and all, here they are the conditions inhospitable. So the population or the distribution of population is very low there comparatively to a plain region. So that is why what happens is that the plain regions are having very high population and such mountainous or desert or an arid type of region having low type of population. From a thematic map having merely showing this population distribution will not make us understand that what is the reason behind such a different type of distribution or density of population going on in those regions. So the representation of data, since they are very limited, it will not convey the full meaning to a map user at the end. Choice of a base map. The success of every thematic map depends upon the quality of the base map. Here, what happens is that we always require a base map. On the basis of the base map only, we will be depicting or portraying a details into it. Presently, we don't have any internationally standard base map available to us to prepare a map. What happens is that each map will be having different themes so that the quality of the map automatically reduces. Third one, generalization of data. So, we know that the thematic maps are generally small scale maps. Most of you might have seen that thematic maps in our textbook by publishers or in our atlas and all. So what happens is that the generalization is required. We have to take whichever is more important to us and avoid which all are less important or irrelevant to us. This will affect a thematic map or the quality of a thematic map. We have no standard method of generalization so far. So what happens is that we cartographer will make our own judgment in comparing the maps produced by different organizations. There is no standard method of generalization. The last one is the selection of map projection. We know that there is not even a single map projection that will suit the requirement of all types of presentation. There is no equal area projection to show every part of the world satisfactorily. If you are looking to take any type of projection also, what happens is that while we show the thematic map as a whole, already the thematic map is a very small scale map. So what happens is that the margins will be often distorted due to lack of proper scale and international projection. So So far, no standard projection has been identified for a thematic map. So this also affects the quality of a thematic map. So I am just for topic to this. I hope you will be having a very nice learning. If you have any doubts, contact me at any time. Thank you and have a nice day.